Alright, we're here with Annabel Fay to talk about her new single, The River, and find out a bit about what she's been up to since her last album and some of her favourite things. Nice to have you here, Annabel.
How's it going?
Good. So, it's been a while since your last album. What have you been up to?
Ooh, lots and lots. Well, it's been about 3 years in August since I put up my last one. So it took me 2 years to make this one. Very long time, about 18 months in the studio, but then I was gigging a lot at the same time, writing. Took forever, to be honest, but it was a good, very big learning process for me, but it was lots of fun. So.
There seems to have been a bit of a trend this year with people who have found it quite difficult to get their next album out. What do you think were some of the barriers between you and getting this album, or even a single? Yeah,
was probably the biggest barrier, I had to break a lot of my own boundaries to get the results that I got on this one. Personally, I had to push myself a lot further than what I had on the first one. I wrote a lot more of this. I had my hand in production. I just worked so closely on each song that I think that I probably got a little bit too close, and that's why it took so long. Nothing was ever quite right. I think it was the biggest learning part of it was just pretty much getting over myself and getting over my inhibitions, which sounds really easy and cliche, but to actually do the thing that you're the most scared of was very, very difficult, but got the product, so that's all that really matters, I guess.
Awesome. And new single out at the moment is called The River. What's the story behind that one?
Oh, I love this song. Well, if you listen to it, it's a pop song. Whenever people say I heard your new song, the first thing they go, oh, because it's the beginning of the song. Everyone does that. I don't know why. But it's a fun song to sing along to. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, it talks a lot about the idea of a relationship with someone who it can be destructive at that time. So you've got to let them go, knowing that they're going to come back. You know what I mean? It was an amazing song to write. It was written by me and 3 other people, and it was the sort of song that when we were writing it, we were in this room, sitting on 2 couches, all looking at each other. Someone was just playing the guitar, and we were all just, it came out so quickly. It was so much fun to write because we all knew while we were writing it that it was going to be something special and something different, and it was so much fun to write. And one vocal take, and that's all it needed, because it was there. You know, it was amazing.
Awesome. And the video clip's been filmed in Cuba. What was the rationale behind that? It sounds like a pretty amazing excuse to just go to Cuba, right?
It was ridiculous. It wasn't my idea. I'd love to take credit for it, but it wasn't mine. I found the director I wanted to work with, a guy called Anthony Rose, who I wanted someone who could shoot women and beauty really well. I feel like a lot of directors, they look at more the surroundings, but I really wanted someone who could shoot the person really well, and his videos really stood out to me. So I basically emailed him the song and was like, hey, do you want to work with me? And he sent back the treatment for Cuba.
Awesome.
He was like, I hear this song and this is what I think of. And Cuba was on my bucket list to go to, so I was killing 7 birds with one stone. It was good.
Awesome. And what have we got to look forward to? So that's just a taste of what's to come. What else is there?
The album's out March 2011. It's called Already Home. There's so much more coming. Every song has got its own message, its own story. Every song to me is obviously very personal because I wrote them, but even my girlfriends, when they listen to the album, it's quite bizarre that they all have their own favourites. There's no general consensus across the board, that's the best song, or that's the best song. People who know me and who listen to it, I love seeing what people's favourite song is, which is why I think it tells a really big story, this album, and it's very exciting, and it's got lots of big ballads, but it's got some getting ready on Friday night kind of
awesome
dance in your room kind of stuff.
Always compulsory on a pop album. So we were talking before about nzgirl and it being all about favourite things, so we're just going to get a bit of insight from you as to what your favourite things are. We'll start with probably our most popular section. Tell me your favourite things to eat.
That's a very, very hard question for me because I find eating a very serious business. I'm quite bizarre though, because I love going out to dinners and whatever, but my favourite thing to do is to actually go out for breakfast. And I find breakfast is the best meal of the day. Like if I could have, I'd have breakfast for all 3 meals. So I've got all my little cafes all over the city for different things. Like I get my porridge from nzgirl. I get my pancakes from the Yola Kitchen. Not that I don't eat pancakes. But then I've got my eggs from Monterey. Like Monterey, the best scrambled eggs in Auckland.
Okay.
Hands down. Then my chili scrambled eggs from Five Loaves. I love, and Shaky Isles, the pikelets.
Yeah.
Shaky Isles. And then across the road, if you want an omelette, go to the fridge.
See, I would get a pie from the fridge.
My secret shame of pies, I like BP pies. Not that I don't eat pies. And double mince, double cheese from Big Ben. I like the really, really like low budget pies. It's quite shameful, but
Well, that's the beauty though. Everyone can have different favourites, you know?
So good.
Love it. Okay, that's some pretty good insight. Next section is buy, so that's, you know, beauty, fashion, interiors and technology. Any favourites there?
See, I'm not much of a shopper, which people find quite bizarre. Like strangely enough, the things I spend the most money on are things to cook with, which is quite bizarre. Like I love going to Zabo and Sabato and Nosh and buying stupidly expensive oils and like kitchen gear as well. Like I just bought myself a really nice set of knives to cut with. I try and pretend I'm on MasterChef. So it's not very pretty, but that's okay. So I mean, I think that I'm not someone to go like. I mean, technology. My phone's held together by a piece of sellotape. So I mean, I'm not really much of a shopper. So.
All right. Entertain. This is, you know, quite an interesting section. Things that you like to, you know, watch on TV, see at the movies, read books, magazines, that sort of thing. What's really interesting for you right now?
Well, favourite TV show right now, number 1, Cougar Town.
Surprisingly good, right?
I want Courtney Cox to be my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I feel like, for some reason, I feel like the show was made for me. It's like the epitome of my sense of humour. And another show called Sons of Anarchy, which isn't out here yet, it's out in the States. It's I'm Gonna Marry the Lead Man. And also, one of my favourite things right now, I've actually brought with me. I got this in the mail yesterday from Superette magazine.
Nice.
Firstly, because it has really hot models in it.
Always a good plus.
But I got sent it yesterday from Superette, and it's amazing. And it's all over like different websites and whatnot now, so I feel quite special.
Okay, cool. And where would you pick one up if you didn't already have one?
At Superette.
Awesome. Cool. Excellent. Other sections on the site, favourite people. Who's a really favourite person for you?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Tough one.
At the moment, I quite like my sister. My sister has lived overseas for a really long time, and she's back in New Zealand now at the moment. So it's kind of like who I see the most of. And then that's something that's close to home. And then my favourite, like, famous person at the moment is a woman called Nika Costa. She's a singer.
Isn't she amazing?
She's amazing, and she's one of those singers that she's kind of like teetered around like the fame world.
Yeah.
But everybody, if you play her songs, everyone's like, oh. But no one knows that it's her, which is like, to me, like the exact best thing it could be as a musician. Everyone knows your music, but you wouldn't be snapped in an NW.
Yeah.
You know, like I think she's amazing.
So she got something new out at the moment?
No, I scroll through like her old stuff.
Yeah, her old stuff's pretty awesome.
It's amazing. I love her. So.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And favourite places? Anywhere that you love to go internationally, locally, even here on an Auckland scale?
In New Zealand, I'm obsessed with Queenstown. I love it. Like I went down there in like April. It was the quietest weekend in Queenstown. Like it's like the notoriously quiet weekend, but it was just amazing. Like I just love everything about it. In Auckland, one of my favourite things to do is to go to Icing on the Cake and get
froyo,
and then go and sit down in Central Bay and eat my froyo in peace.
Nice.
It's
I like
amazing.
that. Internationally,
I spend a lot of time in New York, just because I've got a lot of family who live there. But the most favourite thing I've done is when I lived in Switzerland, we did a school trip, like a graduation trip in fifth form, and we canoed down the Ardèche River, which is in Provence. Yeah. And we had like a barrel behind us. It was all we could put in, but it was just that area. Like I love the history, I love the architecture, like Saint-Rémy and Orange, and I love that part of France. It's just really beautiful, and I think pretty untouched. Like it's not very touristy, and yeah, I love that sort of history, which we lack a little bit here in New Zealand. But what can you do?
Not much you can do about it. And final section is all about no, so favourite bits of advice and tips that you might have been given.
I don't know. I mean, one thing that I live by a lot is you get what you give kind of thing. Like, I'm a firm believer in karma. I'm a firm believer in like the energy and positive. If you put something positive out, you're going to get positive back, which I just think is something that everyone should live by. Like, I think I like what goes around comes around kind of thing. I firmly believe in that. So yeah.
Awesome. And have you got any final messages for nzgirl or nzgirl readers?
You rock.
Awesome. We will be checking out your new single, which is out on radio right now, and you can see the video on
YouTube, or you can actually go to my website, annabelfay.co.nz, and you can get the single for free.
Awesome.
I love you, so...
Ah, fantastic. And we look forward to catching up with you when the album comes out next year.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.